Hi guys, it's Andy from Man City Fan TV and welcome to this week's Game 16 of the Premier League predictions videos. So let's just see who is playing this week. So starting us off on Saturday, it's an early kickoff, 12:30. It's Everton versus Chelsea. And then we've got a run of 3 o'clock kickoffs. That's a Bournemouth at home to Liverpool, Tottenham at home to Burnley, Watford at home to Crystal Palace, and then our game, which is Manchester City versus Manchester United. It's a 17:30 kickoff from the Etihad Stadium. On to Sunday, 2 o'clock kickoff. We've got Villa versus Leicester, Newcastle versus Southampton, and Norwich versus Sheffield United. And the late game is a 16:30 kickoff on Sunday, Brighton versus Wolverhampton Wanderers. And then to finish off game week 16, and Monday night, we've got 8 o'clock kickoff, West Ham United versus Arsenal. So, as usual on the Man City Fan TV Prediction Leagues video, we've got 3 of our guests, as usual, and that is Kiam, Martin, and Ryan, who looks after the Discord channel. So, first up today, who shall we have? I know. Let's go for Ryan.
Hello guys, it's Ryan with my predictions for game week 16. So I have gone with Everton 0, Chelsea 3, Bournemouth 1, Liverpool 2, Tottenham 2, Burnley 0, Watford 0, Crystal Palace 1, Manchester City 2, Manchester United 1, Aston Villa 0, Leicester 2, Newcastle 0, Southampton 2, Norwich 1, Sheffield United 2, Brighton 1, Wolves 1, and West Ham 2, Arsenal 1. So obviously I'll start with the derby. I think it'll be a tight game, rather than like the weekend where we did the midweek game where we essentially battered Burnley for 90 minutes. The big games seem to be the ones that Man United actually perform in. So I think they'll also give us a good fight, but I think we'll have enough to beat them. So Everton losing to Chelsea, pretty routine. Chelsea doing well, 4th in the table. Everton dropped into the bottom 3 now. 4 wins all season. Can't see them getting anything. Bournemouth losing to Liverpool. I think that should be pretty routine. Brighton are in a bad run of form. Very mid-table at the moment. Not that far off the bottom of the table. So I think that's pretty routine. Spurs beating Burnley. Again, pretty routine. Obviously, Mourinho's just been given his first loss, but I don't think that'll affect too much. Then Palace beating Watford. Watford just don't look like turning this around. They're going to have to bring in Big Sam. But at the moment, it looks like they're just doomed to go down. Leicester beating Villa. Again, pretty routine. Leicester keeping up their good run of form. The only team to have conceded less than 10 goals so far this season. Second in the table above us. Should be a simple win. Southampton, very good run of form. Danny Ings doing bits on my fantasy team. Hopefully he grabs another and they're able to beat Newcastle. Norwich, I'm giving a goal against Sheffield United. Pookie's come back into a little bit of form, so I think he might get a goal or can't well. But Sheffield United will have too much for them. Brighton Wolves 1-1. Can't really pick a winner in that. Wolves obviously much higher in the league, but they've also only got 5 wins all season. With 8 draws, which is the most in the league. But they don't lose much, so I've given that as a draw. And then West Ham to beat Arsenal. Arsenal still in a bit of a mess. Obviously their game is tonight, I think. As I'm recording this. West Ham also doing pretty crap, but obviously they just beat Chelsea, and Arsenal's definitely the sort of team you can get a win against, so that's why I've gone with that. But make sure you get your predictions in the Discord, and back to Andy.
Thanks, Ryan, and really appreciate all your work you do on the Discord channels. And if you're not on Discord, go over Man City Fan TV Discord and you can still join the Premier League prediction. So next up is our FIFA presenter, and that is Kiam.
Hi Andy, thanks for having me on again. Had a pretty good week in game week 15, so hopefully I can carry it on again this week. And I'm going to go for Everton 1, Chelsea 3. I think Chelsea will have too much. Everton, obviously, bad result in the week. The manager is on his last legs. He's going to be sacked soon. And I think Chelsea will go there, professional performance, and they will just outscore Everton in that game. Next one, AFC Bournemouth 0, Liverpool 2. So I think easy as you like. I think Bournemouth may give them a game early on, but then VAR will probably kick in and Liverpool will get a comfortable 2-0 victory in that one. Tottenham Hotspur versus Burnley. I've gone for Tottenham 4, Burnley 1. Now, I don't know what happened to Tottenham the other night at Old Trafford. I don't know whether it was a case of Jose Mourinho tried to park the bus at Old Trafford. It was just a weird performance from Spurs. From the first minute, you had Son very deep, every man behind the ball. They showed United far too much respect when they should have gone to United and absolutely pummeled them. They could have won that game if they'd have just stepped up. But for some reason, Jose had them defending. I think at home it's going to be a different matter. I think they will attack at home. I think Burnley are not very good. We saw that in the week. And I think Spurs will beat them comfortably by 4-1. Next game is Watford versus Crystal Palace. Watford in a bit of a mess down at the bottom. I think Crystal Palace can be pretty strong on the road, as we found out last season. They've had a couple of good away wins this season as well. So I think Crystal Palace will win that one by 2-1. And then the Manchester Derby. Now this one has caused me a lot of pain. I've got to say, this is a lot of pain. And my head is saying that United will actually win the game by 2-1. I've got a feeling that we're going to struggle. I think we're going to struggle to deal with the pace of United's attack because of our defence. I don't have very much confidence in our defence at the moment. And yeah, it's a little bit negative, but I'm not going to go for a United win because I can't do that. I just, my pride cannot do that. So I'm going to go for Manchester City 2, Manchester United 2. I just don't have the faith in the defence. We're missing players. If Aguero's not playing as well, I've got a feeling it's going to be mischance after mischance. And we'll still probably get 1 or 2 on the board, but I think United will cause us problems, unfortunately. I hope I'm very, very wrong. Next one, Aston Villa versus Leicester. I think this is the weekend that Leicester's winning run comes to an end. I think Aston Villa will be up for it. It's sort of a derby, this one. I think Aston Villa at home will give them a very good game. They're going to be scrapping for the points, and I think they'll get a 1-1 draw against Leicester. Newcastle United versus Southampton. I fancy Newcastle to win this one at home. Southampton, are fighting, but I think Newcastle will be too strong at home in front of the St James's crowd, and they will win that one. Norwich against Sheffield United. I've gone for Norwich City 2, Sheffield United 0. Now, Sheffield have been doing well, and Norwich struggling, I suppose. I don't know. I just think at home, Norwich, with the crowd behind them, I think they've got a good team in terms of passing quickly. If they can get in behind Sheffield, I can see them doing a little bit of damage, and I think they will. I've got a feeling Sheffield might start to drop off now, and it will be a 2-0 win there for Norwich. Next game, I've gone for Brighton Hove Albion 1, Wolverhampton Wanderers 2. So I think Brighton will put up a good fight, but Wolves are pretty strong on the road. We saw it at the Etihad. They've got a lot of pace, a lot of quality. I think Wolves will pick up the win, but I think it'll be a very tight game down at Brighton. Next one is West Ham United versus Arsenal. Now, this one was a tough one to call because West Ham on the day can beat some of the bigger teams. We've seen it happen. When they're up for it, they can put up a real fight. But I think Arsenal players are going to be a little bit more relaxed. Emre's gone. They're playing for Lundberg, and I think just the fact they can play a little bit more relaxed, play a bit of football, I think they will edge this one just on quality alone. I think they're going to have more firepower, and they'll win this game by 2-1. So those are my predictions for game week 16, Andy. Thank you very much for having me on, and good luck to everyone else with their predictions.
Thanks, Kiam. And next up is our Man City Fan TV roving reporter, and that is Martin.
Cheers, Andy. Martin here, Man City Fan TV. Hope we're all good. Week 16 of the Premier League fixtures. Time for me to get back in it because I started off the midweek really well and then I just fell off a cliff again. Kiam obviously doing quite well. 3 correct scores. And we all call him Mr. Pessimistic, and it looks like he knows what he's talking about. But time for me to catch up. Here's my predictions, guys. I've gone for Everton 1, Chelsea 2, Bournemouth 1, Liverpool 0, Tottenham 3, Burnley 0, Watford 1, Crystal Palace 2, the big derby, City 3, United 1, Aston Villa 2, Leicester 2, Newcastle 2, Southampton 1, Norwich 1, Sheffield United 2, Brighton and Hove Albion 1, Wolverhampton Wanderers 1, West Ham United 2, Arsenal 2. So, why have I gone for some of these scores? Let me look into it. First one we're going to go to, the derby, 3-1. I just think Tuesday's result away at Burnley, one of the best performances of the season. United got an important win last night against Tottenham, but I just think at home, I think we're going to be up for this. The fans will be up for this, and I just think we can't afford any more drop points, and I think we've got to go out with the mentality we did the same as last season, where after the Newcastle defeat, we've got to win every single game, and I think that's what we'll try and do now. And I just think United will not be able to keep us out. Yep, so 3-1. The other one, Aston Villa 2, Leicester City 2, local derby here. Just fancy this one. Villa are at home, that's why I've gone there. I think they'll get a point. I just think they'll do really well. Leicester got a good win the other night. They're getting late wins at the moment as well, which is really, really good of them. Showing character from Brendan Rodgers' side. But I just fancy Villa to nick a point here, so I'm going for 2-2. Then Tottenham 3, Burnley 0. I just think Burnley are awful. Tuesday night they were awful, and I just think if they were at home, I might give them a squeak of a chance of a draw. But Tottenham at home, I just think they'll absolutely batter Burnley. 3-0 to Tottenham. Everton 1, Chelsea 2. Quite easily, I think Everton will be rejuvenated because I think by the time they'll play Chelsea, I think they'll have a new manager in charge. Who that will be, I don't know. But I do think Chelsea will get the result here, but Everton will put up a little bit more of a fight. But Everton are now in a relegation fight, and that's what they've got to realise. So Chelsea are going to win this. Just a sneak at 2-1 for Chelsea. Then I'm going to look at the West Ham 2, Arsenal 1. West Ham didn't do well last night, or midweek should I say. But I think Arsenal still no manager. Still unreliable at the back. I think at home West Ham will get the win that's required and needed for Pellegrini to keep hold of his job. So yeah, they're just a few of the predictions, what I've gone through, some of my thoughts on it. I'll hand you back over to the man, the boss man, and we'll see you guys over at the derby. Marty here, Man City Fan TV, and as always, up the Blues.
Cheers, buddy. Thanks for that, Martin. Okay, on to my game 16 of the Premier League prediction. So, right, first up, what we're looking at is Everton versus Chelsea. Well, if we take a look at Everton, I mean, wow, they're now, after that 5-2 defeat at Anfield, they're now in the bottom 3 in 18th position. As I'm recording this, Silva hasn't been sacked, but it is looking very likely. Well, after 15 games, Everton have got 14 points. The last 5 have been a win, a draw, a win, a loss, and yet another loss, which is, is putting them in a really, really poor position and in a real chance of going down this season. On to Chelsea, where they currently still reside in fourth. They're on 29 points. Their last 5 games have been a win, a loss, and another win. So for me, I think Everton being at home, they might get a goal. But I'm still going to think Chelsea are going to be too strong for them, and I'm going for Everton 1, Chelsea 2. On to the next game, which is Bournemouth versus Liverpool. Well, Bournemouth so far are currently mid-table. They're in 12th on 16 points, but they are on an absolutely horrendous run at the moment. Last 5 games, a win, a loss, and another loss. I mean, they're going for 5 losses on the run. Well, as we know, Liverpool top the table on 43 points, 8 points clear of Leicester, and they've had 5 wins on the bounce. So I can only see one thing here, but I am going to go a little bit of a tighter game this time. I'm going to go for Bournemouth 1, Liverpool 2. On to Spurs versus Burnley. Well, Spurs under Jose Mourinho, a couple of good wins, but then obviously against United, visiting Old Trafford for the first time since he left, well, they had a defeat. So Spurs are in 8th, currently on 20 points. Last 5 games have been a draw, a win, and that loss. So looking at it, Burnley, well, as we know, on Tuesday night, we gave Burnley a right good hammering. Burnley currently lying 11th and on 18 points, and their last 5 games have been a loss, a win, and 2 losses. So for me, I think Spurs are going to win this comfortably at home, and I'm going to go for Tottenham 3, Burnley 0. On to Watford versus Crystal Palace. Wow. Well, Watford still currently lie bottom of the Premier League table on 8 points. Their last 5 have been atrocious. A loss, a win, a loss, and a loss. So, it's not looking good. However, Crystal Palace, after 2 consecutive wins, they're in 7th place on 21 points. The last 5 have been a loss, and then those 2 wins. So, I keep going for Watford every week to somehow claw 3 points back, but it ain't happening. But this week, I'm going to stick with it. I'm going to go Watford 2, Crystal Palace 1. On to the big one this weekend, which is Manchester City versus Manchester United. It's the big derby at the Etihad. Well, City, as we know, we're in 3rd on 32 points, still 11 points behind Liverpool. It is a derby and anything can happen. We saw the 3-2 loss when we could have won the title against our arch enemies at home last season. So anything can happen in derbies. We've had a real mixed bag of the last 5 games: a win, a loss, a win, a draw, and then a win. Whilst Manchester United, well, they're up to 6. I mean, they were in 12th not so long ago. They're on 21 points. Their last 5 have been a loss, a win, a draw, and a win. And the rumours are Anthony Martial might not be fit for the game. But it's always a tight game in the derbies. But I'm still going to go for a high-scoring Manchester City win. I think there'll be lots of goals in it. Defensively, we looked a lot better against Burnley with Otamendi back there. But I'm still going for Manchester City 4, Manchester United 2. On to the next game, which is Aston Villa versus Leicester City. Well, if we take a look at Aston Villa are in 15th on 15 points. Their last 5 games have been a loss, a win, a draw, and a loss, whilst Leicester, as we know, are flying high. They are still banging those 3 points in every week. Vardy's on fire. They are in 2nd with 5 consecutive wins on 35 points. And I can only see this being another 3 points for Leicester. But I think it might be a tight game. I'm going for Aston Villa 1, Leicester City 2. On to Newcastle versus Southampton. Well, Newcastle are currently in 14th position on 16 points. Again, a mixed bag of the last 5. A draw, a win, a loss, and another draw. And, they could do with picking up some more points, while Southampton are flirting with the bottom 3. They're on 17th position in 15 points. Loss, a draw, a win, and a win. So they picked up 2 good wins on the road. But, I'm still going to go for Newcastle at home. Too strong for Southampton. So Newcastle 2, Southampton 1. On to Norwich versus Sheffield United. Well, Norwich currently 19th, second from bottom on 11 points. A loss, a win, a draw, and a loss. Whilst Sheffield United, who at one point were in 5th position, have now dropped to 9th. They're on 19 points, but their big problem is far too many draws. But 9th is a really respectable position. The last 5 has been a draw, a win, and then a draw, and yet another draw. So for this one, I'm going to make it 4 on the trot, and I'm going to go for Norwich 1, Sheffield United 1. On to Brighton versus Wolves. Well, Brighton, 16th position on 15 points, and they're on a terrible run of form at the moment. After 2 wins in the last 5, they've now gone on a run of 3 losses. So a win, a loss, and a loss. While Wolves, absolutely flying, not been beaten in 5. They're in 5th place on 23 points. The last 5 have been a draw, a win, a draw, and a win. But I'm going to go for one of those odd ones again. Even though Wolves are just unbeaten, I'm still going to go for Brighton to sneak a point out of this one. And I'm going to go for Brighton 1, Wolves 1. And finally, West Ham United versus Arsenal. Well, West Ham, 1 win out of the last 5. They're in 13th on 16 points. The last 5 have been a loss, a win, and then yet another loss. While Arsenal, they're just all over the place. But to be fair, they've only lost 1 in the last 5. They're in 10th on 19 points. Their last 5 have been a draw, a loss, a draw, and a draw. So can Freddie Ljungberg go to West Ham and get something out of it? I think he can get a point. Not sure about all 3. So I'm going to go for West Ham 1, Arsenal 1. Okay, so on to the Premier League prediction table. Well, as we can see, Kiam, 88 points. He's sort of got a 10-point lead there. Ryan Curry in 2nd. He's jumped up to 78 points. In 3rd is Baron's House on 73. Bernard Deneen is up to 4th in 65. Ethan Aspinall in 64 and falling like Everton. And Silver is Martin on 63. Section 20s on 61. Callum in 8th on 57. I've jumped to place, so I'm out of 10th now, and I'm up to 9th with 52. Sargent on 51. In 11th is Dank City on 47. 12th is Ace King on 43. Mingy Wong is on 38. 14th is Alex on 16. Darren on 9 in 15th. Ashgith is on 6. Daniel De Bruyne is on 6 in 17th. Aguero's Cute is on 5. 19th is True Blue 72 on 4. And still propping up the table is JKMCFC on 2 points. So anyway, guys, that's the Premier League predictions for this week, which is game 16. So don't forget, get your predictions below this particular video. City play Manchester United tomorrow, 17:30 kickoff at the Etihad. And don't forget to also go over and join the Man City Fan TV Discord channel and the Premier League prediction table that Ryan looks after. So a big thank you to Ryan for looking after the table, and Martin and Kiam for coming on this particular video. But we'll be back as usual next week. So take care, guys. Don't forget to subscribe, hit the bell icon, and that way you'll be notified of all new videos. Let's hope Derby Day, 3 points for Manchester City.